Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Olabisi. So as you can see from the title, I'm going to be doing my first story time. So recently we got a new apartment and we're going to be sharing my experience living in Lagos and what you should expect when looking for an apartment. Okay, so I'm going to start off with I've always been in Lagos all my life. Not all my life. I I stayed in Lagos, or I've lived in Lagos for a very long time. Um, Although the early part of my life, I was we were staying in Kaduna. So I lived in Kaduna for about 7 years before moving back to Lagos. Then had my primary, the later part of my primary and secondary school in Lagos, and then we moved to the university. I moved to Ife, that's OAU. Then after that, came back to Lagos. Then I went back to Kaduna. I was posted to Kaduna to serve. That's an interesting thing. And then came back to Lagos, and I'm currently settled in Lagos. So the first time I was actually going to rent an apartment was after NYSC. Why? Because my parents stay in Lagos. My elder sisters, which are married, are also based in Lagos. So really, and of course, cost of getting accommodation in Lagos is not cheap. Even if you have the money, most times when you have other options, you rather just want to keep the money. So for my own case, when I finished school, even when I was in uni, my grandpa is also based in Lagos. So it's either I'm staying in I had like different options. Two of my elder sisters places to stay. If I don't want to stay in my parents' house, I was my grandpa. Then later on, I think I was about graduating, I lost my grandpa. So, but I had like plenty options. So even when I started working my first official job after NYSC, I was staying with my sister. So there was no like but at some point, I needed to start looking for apartment because where I was staying wasn't like very, very comfortable any longer. And then the other options I had were kind of like far from where I was working. So I started looking for apartments. So the very first apartment that I got was out of town. Not like out of, so still Lagos, but Ikorodu. I laugh right now because looking back, it is extremely, extremely funny, but then it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny because at some point I needed accommodation badly, and when I got the corridor option, it looked good because I was working in Surulere, so I just calculated that it was just going to be a straight bus from Ikorodu to Surulere. So I was going to drop maybe in Stadium and then I'll find my way to the office. Unlike my parents stay in Yanopaja area, which is very stressful. I mean, even at some point, yes, I remembered I was staying with my friend Iboko, now she's in Germany. I stay in a place in Yaba and then I'll go to my parents' place over the weekend. So I was just up and down, up and down. So I wanted somewhere that I could easily just go. I was thinking that Yaba thing would work, but the apartment was way above my pay grade. Our lifestyle was funded by my friend's brother who was a software developer. So even when they moved out of the apartment, couldn't afford to pay for the rent because it wasn't cheap. So anyway, um I moved over to Corridor, started staying there. And another thing that really made me get that place was the fact that my fiance then, I think his mom's friend or so was staying in the apartment. Actually, it was a two-bedroom, and she was relocating. She was traveling to Canada for a very long time, so she was leaving the house with a whole lot of things. They weren't necessarily things that I really liked, but there were some things that I liked. So like the mattress, we got bed. In fact, funny thing was when we first got the apartment, we're not really interested because it was far. So by that time, she had started selling a lot of her kitchen equipment. She had her deep freezers and stuff. So by that we're interested. A lot of the stuffs were off the market, but we had to make do with some things, some fun. She had like quite some things. Some she gave us, some we bought, like we paid for it. and we stayed in that place. Our plan was just to stay for a year, but we eventually stayed there for a year and 6 months, and then we had to move. So we were already planning to move because it was really stressful. I mean, it was stressful. I was using BRT. Oh my god. I had to leave my house for 5:30 to get to Ulere. Even if I know I'm going to get to the office very early. But if I don't leave at that time, trust me, I will get to work very, very late. So if I have like project or stuff, I used to sleep in the office. So why would I go through that stress? It was very, very stressful. Very, very stressful. So even when we got married, we just stayed there and said we were going to move. But you know how it is now. So which will lead me to one of my points, which is to plan ahead. It is important for you to be able to plan and save. Plan and save ahead. So which is what I did. But I wasn't really very specific in terms of goals. This is what we want to do and stuff. So, well, like, we're going to move. But the moment we got really serious and we said, oh, we're going to move no matter what, it happened. So there's sometimes that you want to do some things, you're still, should I do it? Should I not do it? You know, it just reminds me of this series that I'm watching. This is Love is a Blind. Love is Blind. And then there's this couple, Mark and Jessica. Jessica is just like, oh, I like Mark, but he's 10 years older. Auntie, do what you want to do. Do you want to go for him or you're not going for him? So every time she sees that other guy, the bonnet or what's they call him, she's always feeling like, oh my god, this guy is my specs and everything. Auntie, can you face front, please? Can you please face front? Make your decision. So for us, we didn't really make our decision. But by the time we were serious and we made our decision, it really worked out. Okay, so tip number 3 is to save towards it. So we started saving towards our accommodation, say in 2019, and then our plan was we now had to narrow down what do we want. Do we want to stay on the island? I said no because of the kind of work my husband does. He wanted somewhere very central that he can. So island wasn't exactly central for him. So he wanted central, Bagada, Anthony area. So looking for apartments, you know, working with agents, Lagos is a lot. I remember when we had to go and if I remember I had to take off time off work to be able to, see some houses with my husband. Despite that, my husband saw a lot of houses. Even some, he will even say, don't bother. Like, he met different agents. There's one agent that I know he met, I think it was a 3 bedroom or so. It was this terrazzo, this old terrazzo. And then he was asking that why does the apartment still have terrazzo? And then the apartment just has one restroom, like for three rooms. Like, really? So they told him that told him that tiles to kill people. I'm like, say what? Say tiles is to kill people. So, oh my god, we heard different. There was one apartment we went to. That one was around. I can't remember. See, I can't remember. It's around Pangrove area. And then they were like, I was looking at the apartment. Like, what is this? Like, oh, and that's always like, person that was living here is moving to Canada. Just moved to Canada. Just moved to the US. And I'm like, what kind of apartment is this one? How? Tell me. And then downstairs was a church. It was a very prayerful church. And I was like, whoa, we're not going to sleep in this house. I'm not going to pay for this house at all. So try as much as possible to know what you want. You're going to see different options. I advise to go to Gigi, Nigeria properties, check out apartments, check out prices, so that you are very familiar and when you're saving your money, you know how, because with Lagos agents, it's always good that you have like 80% of your money on ground, because once you get an apartment, the first apartment you get, you most likely not like it. So you're going to have to check multiple apartments, and by the time you now get the apartment that you want, you would have to pay immediately. If not, like this new apartment we just got, we got the apartment on Monday. We went to check the apartment on Monday. When we got there, we were like 3 people. Was it 4 people checking it as we were there? But thank God for favor. The main agent is a real estate company. The main guy finished from OAU. He just liked us, and then he was like, "We're going to pay. We're going to pay the money the next day." So it's really important. You can't say, my money is not complete, I'm about to gather the money. No. Try as much as possible. Even if it might not be 100%, you need to gather your money all together. So another thing is to make sure you ask the right questions. Make sure you ask the right questions. So I remember when we got here, this apartment too as well. We were like two people trying to bid for this apartment. Eventually we got it. But we try as much as possible to ask some relevant questions, especially around light. Is it prepaid? So when he told us was, oh, this apartment is the landlord apartment, so it's been a while that someone stayed here. So they were going to get us a prepaid meter and stuff. But my dear, I just stayed in this apartment for 2 years. We didn't get a prepaid meter, and it's still postpaid meter, and they bring ridiculous. I mean, like, if you know the amounts that is on our bill right now, bringing like 100K, 200K in a month, and I'm like, what are we using? I don't understand what exactly we are using in this house. So it's really important to ask right questions and also follow through. We just be sure, because in as much as we tried to ask, but I think we took their word for it. So don't take their word for it. Like, see it when they say, "Oh, there's water." Go and check the water. Open the water. Like, be sure that it is working. Don't just take their word for it. I think that was a mistake we made with the light thing. We thought, oh, okay, they're going to bring it. But this new apartment, we told the guy, where is the prepaid meter? We saw it, tested it to be sure it's working and everything. Yeah. So I don't want this video to be extremely long. Maybe I'm going to do a part 2 to it. So, but this is my first story time, and I hope you guys, learned a thing or two. Accommodation in Lagos, it requires divine help. It requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of tactics. It requires a lot of doggedness. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.